Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope everyone is doing great. And I have a wonderful guest today, and her name is Sarah, Sister Sarah. She's been on my show before. I will let her do the introduction in a second, but today's topic is very relevant and important that maybe if somebody's going through a depression, we're going to share our struggle, how you can overcome depression. I'm going to let Sister Sarah take over in a second, and maybe she can explain her journey with us, inshallah. So, when we talk about depression, this word we actually often mostly throw around easily these days. That word we use to describe anything from bad day to an overcoming inability to live life regularly. But as anyone with depression knows, it is much more than this word. So let's welcome our sister Sarah and ask her a few questions. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sister.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me again. It's really nice to see your face and be back on
You,
your show. May Allah put so much barakah in it for you and make it a success.
I mean, how you been?
Alhamdulillah. It's been, it's been a very different time from the last time we spoke. Things have dramatically changed in the world with Palestine, and I've been on a different journey since we last spoke, and it's amazing in a relatively short period of time how things can just change. And so yeah, I've been good though. On the whole, I've been good and just living life and trying to do my best.
Alhamdulillah. I think we all, as being Muslim, we're all feeling this with Palestine. Every single person that I have spoken to, they are going through a similar experience in their lives. I think people in Gaza, they have actually taught us so much. But Alhamdulillah, these people are on different level of Iman. They have, they're so resilient. Alhamdulillah. I'm just speaking for myself. I wish I can have that kind of conviction and that kind of Iman. But may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them, because it's a huge calamity. It's not an easy test, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. Ameen. So I have a few questions. So as I just described previously, that depression is something that is not just a word. We easily use this quite often, but living with depression, it can be a different game altogether. So can you share your personal story that shaped you where you are today?
I mean, I've had a long history of mental health. I think it really started in my childhood. I had an eating disorder from quite a young age. I didn't actually know that it was an eating disorder at the time. And, that's always been something that has compromised me. And later on in life, I had suffered from postnatal depression. And as a result of that, then depression. But I think I've always had the depression there in the background. And it's hard to explain, because there's been times when I've been on a high and doing well and really like functioning great and really succeeding in my life. And then there's been times when I literally can't get out of bed. And I think the thing between, just having a down day and not feeling great about yourself and feeling like that you don't want to get out of bed, and then actually not getting out of bed, are two very different things. And this is where the blurred lines come between, having actual depression and just having a bad day, which obviously we can all have. But yeah, I think the journey for me it's been wild. What can I say? It's been wild, and it's been such a learning journey for me. Like, I'm nearly 40 now, I know I don't look it, but
MashaAllah.
I'm nearly 40, and I have two children, and I've done a lot and seen a lot in my life, and it's been a real, yeah, it's been a real roller coaster
Subhanallah.
in a nutshell.
Subhanallah. I mean, as I said, I think we all we know as Muslim, this is our belief. We all here for a test, and Allah put us through different tests, different hardship, different
Yeah,
trials in lives,
yeah,
just only to make us closer to Him.
yeah,
It's actually for Him. It's kind of like a showing His love upon us, so we can come more closer to Him. So, yeah, subhanallah, I've kind of like gone through a similar thing to what you have gone through. Um, Basically, in the beginning, I was always thinking to myself, why am I always tired? Why am I like really struggling to get up in the morning? But it was back of my mind. It started happening when I was going through my divorce, and it was just life was just taking toll on me on that time. But I'd never taken any notice of it because I was too busy bringing up my children. That was my main focus, and I was always putting myself behind, and I
yeah,
was
like
always
a
telling
robot.
them,
Yeah,
yes, to just get on with life. I don't have time to sit down or just get on.
mm,
Navira, you just don't have time. Don't sit down and, feel sorry for yourself. That's how I was. And I've been doing that for the last 10 years. Subhanallah. But like, I think that sometimes your body have it's just telling you you have enough now. So
yeah,
your body started to shut down. So I was really struggling to get up in the morning, and then I seek help, and then I still go through a few problems at the moment still, but alhamdulillah, Allah has my back always. So thank
alhamdulillah.
you, alhamdulillah. So thank you for sharing that. So how do you handle stress or depression, and just to maintain your work-life balance, as you just explained that you have children? Do you work as well?
Yes, yeah. So I'm an arts therapist, uh,
Oh,
and I work in the community with people. As you said, depression is the body's way of saying, I've had enough of this. Whatever this is it's not working for me. And I think the ways that I cope are by helping other people. That's one coping strategy for me that I have to be able to do. If I can't help other people, then I feel like I'm not doing what my purpose was. But I cannot emphasize to you how important and how much you need self-care, especially as mums that are, like I said, robotic. We go here, we go there, we do school run, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're doing all the ironing. Especially if you're a single mum as well and you don't have kind of someone to help you with those things. Self-care is really important. So when the children would go to bed, then I'd have a bath or I'd do some reading. I try and make some time for myself away from the home, because sometimes we can get inside and that's it, we're inside.
mm,
You know what I
mm,
mean? I don't want to go out, especially when it's cold. So having some time away, like going and treat myself to a coffee or whatever, and just having some time away from my everyday environment. Things like being out in nature, walking, swimming, whatever it is that you enjoy to do. But this can be incredibly difficult if you're feeling depressed. Just you want to just get the bare minimum done, and that's also okay.
mm.
But you do need to try and self-care. But even self-care is brushing your teeth when you're depressed.
Yeah.
Self-care is, you know,
Even
you know,
just like brushing your hair, it
yeah,
becomes such a chore. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure probably you can relate to this. I'm like, really, just leave it.
yeah,
Um, just put your hair up. Who's gonna see my hair anyway? So I've just got a hijab on and that's it. But I think that's where the neglection starts. That's where you start neglecting
yeah,
your own self.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've
but
been to bed in my clothes and woke up the next day in my clothes, so I don't have to deal with it in the morning when I was really depressed.
mm,
Alhamdulillah, praying my fajr and everything. But there's been times when there would have been no way I could have got up for that. I mean, what
definitely.
about you? How do you cope? What's your, like, what do you have anything that you do that helps you?
I felt when I was really at the peak, really bleak time, I just didn't want to be around anyone. I just want to
Yeah,
be like left all alone.
Yeah.
I think that was my time to gather my thoughts, gather myself,
Mm.
and just talk to Allah. That
Yeah.
helped me. That
Mashallah.
helped me tremendously. I used to cry at nights. I used to sit and just cry constantly.
Mm.
And I still do that at times. And I was just having a direct conversation with him. And
Wow.
because during the day, you're just so busy, you just have not a minute to yourself. But at night, I felt like this is just me and Allah. And
Yeah. Beautiful.
as they
Beautiful.
say in Tahajjud, He listens. He
Yeah.
absolutely listens. And that was my best time to speak to Him.
He does
And
listen,
that
doesn't he? He does answer
He
it.
does.
Dude. It's actually
He
scary.
does.
I'm like, right, I need
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm asking for the right things here.
Yes,
Don't put my foot in it kind of thing. Alhamdulillah, you
absolutely.
found that. That's a beautiful thing because people lose faith in Allah when they're
I think
depressed.
that was probably His way for me to come closer to Him.
Yeah.
Because prior to this, I wasn't even though I'm born Muslim, but I was not practicing my deen, as in like, I wasn't doing hijab. So
Yeah.
I think the way He shapes your life, He knows when to bring you closer. So maybe that was my point in life where He put me in that situation and He brings me out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Alhamdulillah.
was yeah, alhamdulillah, I can't thank him enough. And alhamdulillah, it's been nearly 3 years now.
Wow.
Um, so
Mashallah.
it's,
May Allah keep
yeah,
you fast, sis.
I mean, so yeah, that's how I keep myself sane.
Yeah.
Just speaking
We
to him directly.
Yeah, we need those. We need those things, we need support and we need to find our own thing that helps us with our struggles, things that are not toxic.
Mm,
Unfortunately, the people don't have Islam or don't have the ability to regulate their feelings and they can turn to alcohol and drugs, and we know, it's rife in this country, the
yeah,
amount of mental health issues people have and what they turn to. And we just have to pray for them. They find the deen. That would be a beautiful thing if people knew that they could speak to Allah.
I
You don't even have
mean,
to be a Muslim to speak to Allah. So
absolutely. I mean, it's so easy to derail yourself, to go
mm,
to the wrong path of life,
yeah,
especially if you're in that situation, if you're in stress, anxiety, or going through depression. It's so easy to fall into that trap of shaitan
yeah,
because
yeah.
shaitan is actively playing with your mind, with your soul at that time. That's when you're more vulnerable.
He loves the vulnerable
Yeah,
person, doesn't
yeah,
he? It's like,
yeah,
oh, I'll go after her, and they don't care about Shaitan doesn't really care about the disbelievers because they're already
yeah,
astray. He wants the ones that are strong on their deen.
yeah.
They're the
So
ones.
So yeah, so absolutely. So this is your time. If anyone is going through this, I would suggest that just speak to him. Even though if just make little baby steps. If you feel that you can't pray, but even well, you should pray your obligatory prayers, that because that's the first you're supposed to. But if you are suffering, if you're going through a medical conditions, you feel that you probably can't. But make baby steps. Just speak to Him,
Mm,
and
yeah.
just fall into sajda and say to Allah that Allah, please bring me closer to you, where I can just listen to your commands, and I feel that helps so much,
Yeah, it does.
so much.
Alhamdulillah. Mhm.
So, moving on to my next question would be, what is your favorite way to unwind and recharge yourself?
I think just spending time alone, when the children are in bed. I like to catch up on anything that I'm watching, any series, any like talks that I'm watching, and I like to read. I do read the Quran most nights.
Mashallah.
It's something that I feel brings me closer to Allah, but it also helps me to fall asleep actually when I read. But that's what I do to self-care. And when I've got money, I maybe go out and treat myself to something new or, not extravagant. I've never been into the whole extravagant thing, but
Mm.
treat myself, or I'll go out and have a dinner, because I don't feel any way about sitting in a restaurant on my own and eating dinner. Like, I'll do that,
Oh my
so
God. I'm so like that myself.
yeah, we have to, like, we've got to date ourselves, sis. It's how it is sometimes, and and
Definitely.
that's showing yourself love and care,
Yeah,
and appreciating what Allah gave you, you know.
absolutely. I mean, I don't mind going to the coffee shop and sit there on my own. I can sit there for ages.
Yeah,
Just just let the world go by, and then I just
yeah.
watch everyone, and it just makes you think, just makes you like pick up on little things from watching all these people, and then you
People
think to yourself,
watching, yeah.
yeah, subhanallah. So I'm not afraid to go out on my own. I actually, in fact, enjoy my own company. So I
Yeah,
think you need to reconnect with your own self as well. Just love yourself. As you said, self-love is so important. So
yeah,
invest in yourself, I would say. It doesn't have to be extravagant, as you just say. It could just
yeah,
be a walk in the
yeah.
park by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree to that.
So yes, subhanallah. So, okay, so can you recall a pivot moment that changed the course of your life? What would you say?
Oh wow, that's really because I think our life comes in chapters. We are a book,
Okay.
um, and Allah made us our lives that way so that we could learn. But I suppose when I had my first son, my life changed dramatically, because it's like, wow, I now have this person I have to keep alive. I can't even keep a plant alive, and now I'm being expected to keep a human alive. So it's like, that was a massive change for me. And also, having the postnatal depression was such a struggle for me, because I couldn't understand why I didn't want to, like, hold my baby with this intense love and look at him and be like, oh, when I gave birth to him, I wasn't like, you see these videos and these fairy tales of women like, oh, I looked at him and I was like, why is he ginger? Like, I looked at him and was like, what? I was expecting him to have dark hair like my ex-husband, and it was all a bit like, gosh, I've been through all this 9 months of, like, agony, and because I had a really bad pregnancy, and then I just gave birth, and it just wasn't this magical thing. And I think that they don't talk about that in the magazines. They don't talk about that in mums groups.
There's no manual, there's no book about that.
There's no book about that. And
Yeah.
you're expecting this really wonderful thing, and when it doesn't work out like that, you feel like a failure. Or if you can't get close to, I mean, you've got to think about it. This child has only just come into the world. You've got to look after it. You need time to get to bond with that baby, yourself as well, And it was so life-changing for me. And when the postnatal hit, it was like a whirlwind. My whole life just turned upside down. My relationship with my husband, my friendships, so that was definitely, I would say, a massive turning point with the emotions, how I felt, how I saw the world. I don't know
Mm.
about you, but it's such a strange, it's really hard to explain when you have your first baby. It's just such a strange experience.
Inshallah. So, who have been the most influential person in your life, your journey, and why?
Is she gonna, I'm not gonna name her.
Mm-hmm.
You will know who she is. So there is a sister friend of mine who I met very early on in my journey, and she just inspires me in ways that I can't even explain. The way that she handles every situation that I've ever seen her in, the way that she is firm on her Islam and she cannot be moved, the way that she is with her children, and how she would never let anyone bulldoze her in any way. She will always say, like, how it is. And I really admire that. And she's helped me to build those characteristics within myself. She's shown me, like, how to be a strong woman. I never really had that in my life before I met her. And she always gave me the positive words. She always gave me the support when I needed it. When I kind of come away from Islam, she was there, not forcing or trying to tell me you need to pray Islam. She just always kind of put her toe in and was like, I'm here. And she didn't judge me ever for anything that I ever chose to do. And she's just, I mean, she's incredible. And I don't think she really knows how incredible she is and you know, what she means to me. And she's been such a support in my life at any time of the day or night, you know. And, you know, I'm really happy that I know her. And she helps to remind me of Allah. So having someone in your life that can do that is someone that you need to keep.
Subhanallah. I think I agree with you there, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes places certain people in your life
Yeah,
to do good. So
yeah.
he only knows when to place these people into your life. So subhanallah, I'm so glad that you found that person. You can rely on that person, and she's like your, in a way, a mentor. Would that be okay to say?
She's my mum.
Yeah.
She's like my Islamic mummy. And that's what I call her. You know, I don't know, you know, she's
Subhanallah.
obviously, everyone's got their faults. Of course, we all do and say things wrong, but she's just been a person who has just been constant in my life through the really tough time.
Subhanallah. I'm so glad that you found that person. You have that backup
Yeah.
always. You know where you can go if you need to. So yeah. What's the valuable lesson you have learned from a challenging experience, i.e., going through your depression? What was a challenging lesson or valuable lesson you have learned?
Wow, that's a really, I think that I've learned that you can't please all of the people all of the time. And I've learned that it's okay to be who you are, because I would always be quiet about things that mattered to me in fear that somebody wouldn't like what I was going to say. Now I'll always speak upon injustice and say what I think and try to pursue things that need to be solved. So throughout this journey of depression and having really bad times, I've learned that I can be myself. And if people can't accept me for who I am, then I don't need those people.
Well said. Well said.
I think
I
so.
can, in a way, relate to that what you just explained. I was a very reserved person. I was very quiet, shy, timid when growing. Not timid. I wasn't said timid, but very shy, reserved person as a child when I was growing up. And yeah, and when you say justice, you can't, stand on justice, and that's exactly where I am. I feel now I have to raise my point.
Yeah.
Um, I need to be vocal about what I feel is right. If anyone doesn't like it, there's a door. You know where to
Yeah.
go. I'm not gonna let you come into my life and play with my peace. I'm not. I'm so strict on that now. I've worked on my peace, and there is no way in life that I'm gonna come and let someone in and ruin that for me.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah. So
Alhamdulillah,
subhanallah,
use this.
subhanallah, mashallah. So do you think you have completely overcome from your depression?
No, no. I don't think it ever really, ever truly goes. I think
Mm.
if you're a person that's always suffered with mental health, you probably always will. But I think I can just manage it better now, you know,
Yeah.
manage it better.
So do you feel you're more equipped with more tools or strategies how to actually go about with your daily life?
Yeah, because I know when it's coming on. I know when I'm about to fall into the abyss, as I like to say. So I'll
Mhm.
start to reach out to people in those coming weeks. I'll say I'm not feeling good. I'll start to make mention of it, because then they're the people that will text me then when I'm in the low part and say, do you want to go for a tea, or can I do anything? Or it takes a lot for me to shut people off and just hide away. So when I start to do that, they know there's a problem, and I just know how to cope. I will speak to my GP. I have regular counselling anyway.
Mhm.
yeah, I try to make a bit of an action plan if I can feel it coming on like a cold. You know, you've got to go out and buy some paracetamol. It should be the same for your
Yeah.
mental health. Make your action plan.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes people can't pick up on the signs because mental health issues or depressed doesn't actually show the signs or symptoms. So people can't really pick up on that because it's not something physical. So it's like
Yeah,
if you have a headache, you can take a paracetamol.
yeah,
But for depression, you can't really say out loud, listen, I'm going through this. So,
yeah,
it's not easy. So I wish it was this easy, but it isn't. But alhamdulillah, I think if you just hold the rope of Allah, then
yeah.
He's got your back.
Yeah, I
SubhanAllah.
agree.
Yeah. So what advice can you give to someone who is dealing with depression and want to overcome this situation?
This, I think, needs to be a key point that lots of women don't go to the doctors and tell them they've got depression if they've got children because they somehow fear that the children will be taken off of them because they can't cope or they can't deal with their children. Let me tell you, this is not true necessarily. Unless you are literally starving your children, not taking care of them, their needs, you won't have your children taken away from you for saying, I've got postnatal depression. Okay. So
Mm.
it's really important that you go and seek help if you are really struggling. Go to the doctor. It can be a phone call. Just say you're struggling. You can self-refer to counselling. Your doctor can do it on your behalf. You could temporarily take some medication if you really needed to. Just reach out, I would say. But it's not easy when you're in that hole of darkness. It's not, I know, because we've both been there, but you got to tell someone. You just got to tell someone. You've just got to, talk to the doctor. I can't stress it enough. You've just got to try and talk to someone because then that will get the ball rolling and someone knows of the situation.
Yeah.
So trust, it can be a friend.
Yeah. I feel you need to keep the communication line open
Yeah,
with whoever you feel comfortable with. It could be the family member or your siblings or your friend that you can trust.
yeah,
Um, just, just explain them the situation that you're going through this, and just talk. It helps.
yeah,
It helps more than a therapy. I feel like if you speak to someone,
yeah,
um, you can find comfort in. I feel, and don't delay it. I would
yeah.
say, just don't. As you just explained, that many women do feel like all the children can be taken away, but that's not the case.
No, no. They actually, the actual social services and people like Cafcas that get involved in families when there's situations, they prefer it if you've been to the doctor and you're on medication, or you've been to the doctor and you're trying to get counselling. It's the people that don't go forward that they worry about because they think, well, how are they managing then? So it's a
Mm,
bit kind of double-edged
mm.
sword.
So yeah, I think that is a really good piece of advice that you just given. So ladies, if you are going through the same similar issues, just don't delay it. Just seek help from whoever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
So, so we're coming to the end of our session. What would you like to say to our audience who might be just? I know you just given the advice, but and would you like to add anything more to this?
I'd like to say free Palestine.
Free
That's what I
Palestine.
want to say. I want to say let's take something from the Palestinian women that we see. Let that build our faith in Allah, and let us try and have the unity that they have there and support each other through our mental health journeys and reach out to each other. That's what I would say.
Subhanallah. And and if you look around what's going on in Palestine at the moment, especially these children, just okay, you have one issue, they're being bombarded, they're losing their limbs, but the aftermath is that the mental health issues they might be going through, the coping, they don't probably have that coping mechanism in place at the moment, especially what the country is in at the moment. It's a complete chaos.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I feel there is going to be lots of mental health problems afterwards. Especially, at the moment, they probably don't have even time to sit down and think to themselves.
I mean,
So,
look at the journalists. They're going to have post-traumatic stress disorder, no matter how strong they are or not, because that's
absolutely.
with them forever now.
Yes.
Allow us to be able to support them in some way.
I mean, and hats off to all these medical staff, doctors, what they have to go through.
Allah.
SubhanAllah, with not having enough medication equipment.
Yeah,
I've just come across videos and it's just really, really heart-aching, heart-wrenching, if I'm honest with you, where these doctors are carrying out the operations without any anesthetics.
that's right. Imagine that. We can't even get through, a slight cold without paracetamols and Beechams and they've
Mm.
just, they've got nothing there. And may Allah just make them triumphant.
I mean, what they're actually prescribing in a couple of videos I've seen that can you recite Quran while we operating you?
Yeah.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
Oh, Allah is the best of all planners, as we know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess that's our iman, that's our faith as being Muslims, to just remain steadfast. And all we can do is just pray to Him and ask for His assistance, ask for His forgiveness, and may He pave the payment for us and lead us to Jannah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Um, so yeah, thank you so much for giving me your time once again.
Thank you for having me. It's always a
I,
joy to see you.
I appreciate this. So inshallah, we can maybe have another session in the future, maybe part 2 to this if you like.
Inshallah. We should do like a table talk. We'll get some sisters around it.
Yes, I think that would be a great share
Give us
more
a thumbs
experience.
up if you want table talk with
Yeah.
us.
So yeah, I think that would be a great idea to bring on more sisters on board so they can share their stories, inshallah, and people can learn from this, inshallah. I hope this podcast may help people, and that was our main aim to plan this podcast in the first place. I hope this can help whoever is going through similar situations what we have gone through. So don't delay, just seek help. That's our advice from myself and from Sister Sarah. And is it Sarah or Saira? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Saira.
Sarah, that's it.
I forgive
So,
you.
oh, so thank you so much. And I see you very soon, inshallah. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.